Cool. Hey everyone, I'm one of the co-founders of Headstart. I just wanted to start with a little bit of background as to kind of why I'm working on Headstart, and then I'll kind of run you through how we do things. So when I was about 21, I decided to take quite a big jump and drop out of Oxford, where I was studying Chinese. And I wanted to do that because I really truly believe that I got everything out of my degree that I needed to get, and that truly I could do whatever I wanted to do without needing to have the kind of pedigree or the tick box that everyone seems to need to have on their resume these days to get a job. And so I guess the thing that really fuels what I want to do and what I want to talk to you about here is that I think that potential is far more important than pedigree, and that there are far more important metrics for whether you'd be a good fit for a job than just the degree you studied or the university you went to. So what is Headstart? Headstart's a platform that helps large organizations automatically screen the candidates that apply for their jobs without the kind of pre-existing bias and subjectivity that exists right now. We believe that regardless of the social background you come from, regardless of the kind of education you've had, everyone should have an opportunity to succeed in the job that they're best suited to. And we want to give companies the empowerment to be able to evaluate those people effectively. So how do we do that? Essentially what we do is we map the predictors of high performance within the organization. So we work out what are the attributes that predicate a successful employee, what are the skills that exist in the company, and what do those things mean? What does it mean that a job description says that someone has to have X skill or have to have done X degree at X university? We want to really define what does that mean from a skills perspective, what does that mean from an attributes perspective. Then when a candidate applies to the organization, we want to get that 360 kind of holistic picture of whether a candidate would be a good fit. So we actually take over the application portal for an organization such that a candidate can upload their resume into the system, they can do a short psychometric, and we can, in real time, evaluate whether those candidates would have the potential to succeed in the role based on the contextual data that we've got from the applicant's application form, but also based on millions of job descriptions and psychometrics we've analyzed over the last 3.5 years. The way it works in principle, in terms of the actual process itself, is a candidate would go on a company's website as they ordinarily would. They would click apply for a job just as they ordinarily would. And they would go into a branded portal. That branded portal is just the same as a normal organization's careers page, but that hosts the actual application form itself. Within 10 to 12 minutes, an applicant can have completed their application form. They do that once to one organization for one role, but our system actually evaluates and amalgamates that data and correlates it to the existing employees' high performance data, but also to the millions of contextual data points we've analyzed. And in real time, we'll be highlighting for the organization which of the applicants that have the right fit or the right kind of suitability for the role that they posted, or whether actually the applicant that has applied maybe is a better fit for another role that the organization's posted on their career site or on their kind of broader job postings, and we identify whether that applicant has the potential to succeed there. The benefits, obviously, are pretty obvious. One, we help organizations get from the top of funnel to the bottom of funnel so they can focus on the 20% of candidates that really would be a good fit and with far more high touchness. Secondly, we want to help organizations eliminate a lot of the subjectivity in the process. So by creating a standardized benchmark for whether someone would be good, we can really eliminate a lot of the bias, and I'll talk you through a case study in a second. And three, I think quality of hire obviously is the core goal for any organization, and the aim with Headstart is to really dive deep into those applicants that really would be a good fit, so you can truly kind of analyze that effectively using data. We're EEOC compliant and GDPR compliant, which obviously means that, because we're handling a lot of personal data, it's really important for us to make sure that the candidate is empowered and owns that data, but also that we are creating equal opportunities. And we've proven time and time again that the data that we analyze is far, far, far more accurate, but also without the bias that a normal application process would have, and thereby we're compliant for that. So I want to talk through a small case study that we were really proud to publish last year. So we went live about 18 months ago with Accenture, starting in UK and Ireland, but now we're global with them. And that started with campus recruiting. So we analyzed 26,000 applicants over a 6-month period, helping them with their UK and Ireland campus recruiting. What we saw was that in their process, there was an enormous amount of kind of underlying bias that they couldn't quantify. Everyone knows that there's bias in the recruiting process, but they couldn't quantify what that bias was. And as you can see here, there was a dramatic amount of bias that we were able to, one, identify, but two, through our algorithmic approach, we were able to highlight and show that we could stamp that out completely. Obviously, nothing can be 100% without bias, but what we were able to do is completely standardize that consistency in the evaluation process, which an ordinary process just can't do. Even more than that, from a commercial perspective, in that 6-month pilot, we were able to get their completion rates up to over 90%, which is unheard of for anyone who's kind of managed a recruiting process. Standard application completion rates are about 50–60%. So we got that up to 90%, even though the process was slightly longer than an ordinary, just a resume submission. We were able to automate out 82% of the process whilst maintaining that level of quality that the organization requires, and that led to commercial savings of $2.1 million. Their ultimate aim, and this is a pretty ambitious aim, is to replace Taleo, which is their global applicant tracking system, globally. Of course, that's a journey that we need to go on with them, and right now they manage all of their candidates for the functions we work with them on in our candidate management system. But eventually, the aim is to use our unbiased and accurate and automated approach to manage that entire process for them globally. So I'll just leave you with, diversity in organizations requires more than good intentions. We truly and wholeheartedly believe that data is the only way to truly evaluate someone effectively and fairly. And we stand behind that, and we've got the data to prove it. So thank you, everyone, for listening.